welcome to the MíraLA Podcast in collaboration with Central American Voices Podcast. It's such an honor to have you all here, so please give it a round of applause to yourselves for showing up. I appreciate my community so much because every event, it just keeps growing. And it's all because of you guys sharing the event. So it really means a lot that you all are here. I have a wonderful guest that I'm going to be speaking with today. Her name is Sky Rodríguez. I will have her introduce herself just so you guys know a little bit more of her backstory. How about that?
Hi, thanks for having me. It's so wonderful to be here. My name is Sky Rodríguez. I'm a professional soccer player. I'm from Orange County, and I play on the Puerto Rican women's national team.
So we are going to get into it. The MíraLA Podcast focuses on women voices, and that's what we're doing here on Season 2. We wrapped up Season 1 last year, so if you guys haven't checked out the MíraLA Podcast and Central American Voices, please do that. We would really appreciate your support, and the downloads really do make a difference. Before we begin our interview, I do have to shout out our amazing venue host, the Football Boutique. Round of applause. How awesome is this space, right? It's a wonderful lounge to come and watch soccer. So if any soccer fans in here, now you have a spot to come watch soccer, and it's awesome. And we really appreciate the support that Tony has given our community and allowing us to bring our community here to share our stories. And I know that you have a personal connection here at the Football Boutique. Why don't you share a little bit about that?
So yeah, I'm part of the Football Boutique. It started before the store was actually here. Me and Tony connected through Instagram, and we started doing some shoots with all the jerseys, and so we just stayed connected that way. So once he opened the store, we started connecting with events, social media posts, getting contacts with other soccer players. So it's a really cool friendship that I have with him, and now I get to come to the store every week, and I get to see all the cool jerseys that are here and the events that happen. So it's super fun to be a part of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And we also have two amazing sponsors as well. We have NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, who is a sponsor. Specifically, the San Fernando chapter, which I'm a board member of, has sponsored today's event. So if you guys have any questions about mental health, we have English and Spanish classes, as well as literature. So really take advantage because, as you guys know, the Latino community has been severely affected by the ICE raids going on. And now more than ever, we need to be destigmatizing the conversations around mental health. So why don't we give a round of applause for NAMI? And last but not least, we also have New York Life Insurance, y'all. Okay, we're all in our adult years now, so if you don't got life insurance, I think now's the time. So round of applause for New York Life Insurance for hosting us as well. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do
my
it.
God. Season 2 of the MíraLA Podcast kicking off with midfielder soccer player Sky Rodríguez.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you kind of share with me your earliest memories getting introduced to the sport?
Yeah. So I started playing soccer when I was 4 years old, and I can remember that in my house we had a fireplace, and my dad would always just set up my soccer ball right in front of the fireplace and go ahead, kick it in the fireplace as if it was a soccer goal. And my mom always told me stories that when I started walking, I started dribbling, and that the cones were taller than me. So I started figuring out my way, with a soccer ball and cones. And then from there, my grandfather, he always watched soccer. So just growing up with my grandfather, always watching soccer, and he was like, you can do that, you can do that. So I got inspired that way, and yeah, I had talent at a young age, and my family recognized that. So they put me in soccer at 4 years old, and then from there, I actually started playing club soccer at 6 years old, and from there, I've been competitively playing at a high level for my whole life.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing. So it's over about a 10, 15-year career.
Yeah, I'm 23 now, so yeah, it's been a long time.
And why don't you share with everybody today the team that you are currently on and the teams you have been on?
So I just ended my contract in La Liga Puerto Rico Pro. I was playing for Coamo FC. Before that, I was playing a little bit in Puebla. Before that, I played a little bit at the Cholas. I was also playing at the Utah Royals in the NWSL in Utah. And then one of my biggest signings was for Cruz Azul in Mexico City, one of the biggest blessings I've ever had. But I started playing on my Puerto Rican national team when I was in college. So I've always been involved in FIFA and CONCACAF since college years. Yeah.
Why don't you share? Yeah, round of applause. Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of name drops there.
Yeah, a lot of soccer.
Yeah. And why don't you share with everybody today the importance it is to play under the Boricua flag?
Oh my gosh. It is such an honor to represent Puerto Rico. Everywhere I go, people know me as like the Puerto Rico soccer girl. You know, there's not a lot of Puerto Ricans in this city. So when I'm able to represent Puerto Rico, people like somehow have like a connection. They're like, oh, I'm from this city. Oh, I actually know a Puerto Rican. Oh, I've been to Puerto Rico. It's so beautiful. So I love that I can represent soccer, especially as a female in this sport. I love Puerto Rico. I love going to Puerto Rico. I actually didn't dive into my Puerto Rican culture such at a young age because I'm also half Mexican. So living here, it's all Mexicans around us, right? So when I was old enough to go to the Puerto Rican national team, I learned the language, I learned the food, I learned the salsa, learned the importance of the coqui and everything. So I was blessed to be able to live in Puerto Rico this last year, play for the national team the last 3 years, did really big things with the national team, so it's an honor to represent my flag. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. So you grew up with two different cultures.
Yeah.
Mainly in your younger years, kind of identifying with the Mexican culture, and then in your adult years, I would say, connecting more to your Puerto Rican. Explain to me that identity that you had to go through to be the woman you are today.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, growing up, here, there's not many Puerto Ricans, so I was always, eating Mexican food. My grandma, my grandpa, they're Mexican, and I live with them. They made Mexican food. I grew up driving to Mexico all the time. So just that transition from always going to Mexico, eating Mexican food, and then when I got into an adult, learning about my Puerto Rican culture, learning the slang, learning the salsa, and I always took pictures with the Puerto Rico flag. My dad's family, they're all from Puerto Rico, so when my dad would talk to any relatives, they would just, talk about how Puerto Rico is, that they're going to Puerto Rico, that we have to go to Puerto Rico, So I was like, yeah, let me just learn a little bit more about Puerto Rico. And once I did, it was such a cool, eye-opening experience. I'm like, oh, I wish I knew this sooner, but I'm so glad I get to experience that now. It's great. I love being a Latina, especially in soccer, representing Mexico and Puerto Rico. And yeah, it's just cool to have these conversations with people about my culture because it's a little different from other people. But yeah.
And I think that representation matters. You know, I think whether you have two cultures growing up with, you always feel like you have to pick one over the other.
Right.
Did you kind of feel that or not really?
Not really. I mean, I always led more to my Mexican side, but once I started playing for the national team, people don't even know I'm Mexican. Everyone's like, oh, she's Puerto Rican. I'm like, actually, I know exactly what you're talking about if they talk about something about Mexico. And then also playing in Mexico, learning their culture. So yeah, it's a cool experience. I go by both. I have Puerto Rico national team as my resume for everything, so I go by both, yeah.
Why don't we kind of dive deep into the barriers that you've had to experience as a Latina?
In the soccer world?
In your industry, yes.
So I grew up in Orange County, California, and it's, for soccer specifically, it's one of the highest levels of, education for soccer. Growing up in SoCal, playing for these highest clubs, there are a lot of competitions. I was one of the only Latinas on my soccer team. Everyone else, I lived in Orange County, so a lot of not too many mixed cultures there, right? So I was the only Rodríguez, and people would try to learn Spanish and be like, balota, So just not that I'm any different than anybody else, but sometimes growing up, people would say that to me, oh, balota, pass the ball, if I'm only speaking Spanish, I'm like, no, I'm just like you, we're going to play, we're here to win. So it's honestly an advantage to be a little bit different, So, yeah, just not too many struggles with that, but it was cool, diverse, yeah.
What do you wish more folks understood about just women soccer players in general?
We are badasses. I don't know if I could say that. Thank you. I always hear like women in sport compared to men in sports, but actually it's a lot of women compared to women on this side, and a lot of people don't know that. I always hear like men compared to women in the sport, but actually like growing up, there's so much competition, especially like in all of the clubs that I've played on. I'm competing for a spot, I'm competing for playing time, I'm competing for a jersey. I need to make sure that if I'm only gonna play the last 10 minutes of a game, like practice this whole week needs to be super, super hardcore, right? Taking care of my body. Why is this girl getting playing time over me? Things like that, right? So that was probably the like biggest competition my whole career. Like, these girls are getting scouted for these colleges. How do I get scouted for those colleges too? I wanna make varsity as a freshman, those things. So it's like putting in the extra work, the hard work, I always told myself I can do hard things, So I have that mindset, and the outcome is there, but it is such a hard climb, honestly. Yeah. More physically than mentally, because you have to change your eating diet, you have to make sure you're hydrated, you have to make sure you're healthy all the time, right? So there's always that too.
How do you overcome those mental struggles when you feel like you are being put up against another woman, in your sport or just in your personal life?
Yeah. I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in God. I have a lot of faith in myself. I go to trainings all the time, so I'm always trying to improve. And I see other girls that I can come to. I have my family that is the biggest support system, which I'm blessed to have. So when I have those mental blocks, I just know there's a reason why I'm going through this, because there's going to be an outcome that I'm going to learn from this, It might not be the best learning experience, but it's something that I will eventually overcome and be a better soccer player because of it, yeah.
I want to shift gears a little bit, talking about the disparities, that women in your sport kind of experience in terms of pay, resources, and training. Can you elaborate, what that looks like?
Yeah, so the pay, it's not as high as other sports, and it mostly is focused on what tournament this team is playing in. So if I'm going to play with the national team and we're going to play in a big tournament, that will be our paycheck. We're going to go to camp and that will be our paycheck. I'm going to sign for a club team and they're going to offer me this much money. And sometimes the amount of money isn't the best, but it's the opportunity that matters. So we will take less money just to be able to play on this club team, right? So when I was playing in Mexico City, I played for Cruz Azul, one of the biggest clubs. We had tons of resources. We had doctors on board. We had fitness trainers. We had chefs. We had medical staff. And that was all great and amazing. So when I went to a different team where the resources weren't as well as that, I had to figure it out on my own. I had to find a local doctor that I needed to go to. I needed to find a local dentist. I had a tooth problem. I had to go find a local dentist in Puerto Rico where I haven't lived there for a long time. So these things are all just challenges on top of what I'm going through in soccer, right? So it's just something that's hard to navigate, especially when you don't have the resources that are there to help you. It's not easy, but it's not impossible either. I was able to get everything done. But yeah, I've asked my neighbors when I lived in Puerto Rico, I'm like, hey, I need to go here. Where can I go? And they're like, they're so nice, Puerto Ricans, super nice people. So they're like, here you go, here's my number, we'll take you, all these things. So I just know that's God watching over me too. I'm not with my family, I'm alone in a whole other island. What am I going to do? These people are willing to help me. Amazing, I'm gonna take it, So it's not so much the resources that the club can provide for me. They can only provide so much. Everything else I had to figure out on my own. And so when it comes to training, I train every single day. I also mentor now. So once I started going to all these trainings, I see little girls, little boys that are also going to the same training as me, or they ask me to train them, and I will 100% always train you, because I didn't have private trainings growing up. I didn't have a private small group of training growing up. It was more I have club soccer practice. I'm going to go to club soccer practice 2 times a week, then play on the soccer tournament over the weekend, and that was like my soccer, right? The other days of the week, I played a little bit here and there, played with my family, played with my mom at home, played with my grandpa, played with my dad, but it wasn't like technical like how it is now. These days, kids have trainings every single day. They have speed trainings, they have technical trainings, they have shooting trainings, they have beach workouts, they have, gym workouts, strength and conditioning, and I think all of that's amazing and great. And so I want to make sure that the next generation, I can use my, experiences, my platform, my everything that I went through to inspire these kids for the future. Yeah, because there's so much young talent out there. So taking training is a blessing. It's a blessing, yeah.
As creatives, we pour so much into our work that sometimes we run on empty. It is so important to take a break, rest, and talk to someone. NAMI provides free resources and a community that understands what it's like to balance creativity and mental illness. Sign up today at nami.org/join. Because when you care for your mind, you care for your creativity.
I do want to circle back. You brought up the resources that you were provided on one team versus the other. Is that something that also male players experience as well, or is that just more for the women?
I would think male experiences the same thing, because I actually do know some people who played at like Puebla, who played at all these big clubs, and they didn't have the same resources that the top player on their team were getting. There's always people on the team are not going to get paid the same. So there's like goal scorer, top goal scorer, he or she is going to get paid 3 times more than some of the other people. They're going to get their apartment paid for. They're going to get their contract signed. They're going to be fine. Where these other people are on the same team, but they're working up to that. And there's times where they are not going to get the same resources. And I've been in both boats. I've been where I've had it great, and I've also been where like, okay, how do I work to make sure that I get my paycheck next week? How do I work to make sure I get my uniform next week? How do I get on the starting roster when some people already have it set in stone? So there was always that like mountain I had to climb, which was like the money is always going to be there, but it's like, how much do I want? How much do I deserve? I want my uniform, yeah.
And now that you've kind of built this career for yourself and your standards have been set, does that shift the way you go into your, I don't know what you call it, audition or your interview before you sign?
Yeah, so these are trials. Trials before you go onto a team. Yeah, I take all of that into consideration. I've worked really hard, starting in college where I did not even get to see the field, only practice, to like making the national team, improving myself as a rookie, and, being on the bottom of the paycheck line, being in between all of these games. Yes, I take that into consideration is this club going to make sure I'm okay? Am I going to be in a safe place? What happens if I need this? Who do I need to call if I have this? So yes, all that is into consideration when I go on these trials, where I'm going to be, how safe it is. Do I have cell phone service? There's times where I've gone to these places. I was traveling with a national team, and the national team tells me, you need to go to this country. I'm like, okay, we go to the country. There's no cell phone service. I'm like, I'm in the middle of who knows where, and I don't feel safe, So yes, now I try to make sure that when I go into a trial, everything is there to help me go through it. Yeah.
You spoke about your community and your family support, really being the heartbeat.
Yeah.
But what kinds of investments do you think need to happen to create that safety?
For like on a team, right?
Yeah. For the individual, its perspective, but also like the team perspective as well.
So I'm from here, right? So when I go onto these teams, a lot of the other girls are either from Mexico, from Puerto Rico, or they're more involved in that country. So they kind of have their family already there. They know the language, they know the streets, they know the directions. So they kind of feel a little bit better. So when like an international player comes in, some international players get paid more because of that. They don't have their family in that country. They don't have the language. They don't know the language. So I just think that they need to invest in players that will come from another country, but also like they need more than the players that are already in that country. You get it? Yeah. So just making sure that if you are going to sign an international or an international is going to be on your team, we got to make sure that they feel like they're at home, not just that they're here to like work their way up sometimes. Yeah.
I want to talk about the just womanhood experience and being an athlete, you know, so you're not only dealing with mental burnout, you're not dealing with injuries, you're also dealing with your period.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how, I would actually want to read this.
Okay.
Michelle Kang recently invested $50 million in women's sports science, since less than 6% of research even focuses on female athletes. So my question to you is, why is it so important for women in soccer to finally get care that's actually designed for them?
I think now the women have proven themselves up to this point. Like, example, the USA women's national team, they won the Olympics, right? So it had to get to that point that now we're finally being recognized and, oh, why are women getting more injuries than men? Why is everything men's fitted, you know? So I think it's very important that we recognize how women how did we get to this spot today? And it's because we've proven ourselves in a male-dominant industry that we were capable of keeping up. We were capable of dominating the men's cycle of them always winning this or, you know, playing in the biggest tournaments. Now they gave women the opportunity, and we've shown it. There's not one time I've seen a women's soccer team fail, and there's a few times I've seen men's soccer teams fail, you know?
I think a round of applause for that. That was pretty powerful.
Thank you.
So I mentioned earlier, you know, NAMI is one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
So this is a reminder of how important mental health is, especially with the stress and pressures that athletes have to face. How do you take care of your mind and body while managing all of the things that you manage?
I always have to remind myself that I can do hard things, and that if I'm struggling on the field or off the field, it's just another hard thing that I'm going to go through. I luckily have my family there to support me, and it's okay to take a break. I've taken breaks from soccer days at a time, months at a time, and I've always, you know, regretted it sometimes because I'm like, oh, I'm taking too long of this break off, but sometimes I don't feel ready, and there's really no pressure to come back to the field once you feel better. I've had so much pressure on me growing up. I've had so much pressure on me in the club teams that I've played on, and now looking back at it, it's okay. It's totally fine. At the moment, I cried, I couldn't sleep, I wasn't focused on the bigger picture or the reason why I'm here. And then when I would call someone or ask my coach, they would say the exact same thing to me. There's a reason why you're here. If you need a break, take a break. If you need to do this, you do it. If you want this, you do it. This is your life. You're in control of your life. This is your journey. And at the end of the day, it's all going to work out. No matter if it may not work out in the way you want it to, but at least it's over with. And you're okay. You know, other things are going to pop into your life that will be a distraction, that will, change your mindset, but that's okay. Everything's going to work out for a reason. And so mental health is super, super important to me because I will have mental blocks on the field, off the field. And yeah, I mean, I've gone through it. I will continue to go through it. I know God's got me, and this is my journey, His journey. And yeah, I mean, I've made it. And so I'm just blessed that I was able to go through all of that and still be able to stand tall and be happy through it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That was very vulnerable.
Thank you.
So looking back at your career and reflecting to the little girl chasing the ball and dreaming big.
Yeah.
What would you say to her now?
I would say, don't stop, keep killing it. You're doing amazing. Like, you're enjoying it. I also, when I was a little girl, like now that you said that, I kind of got like a memory that me and my mom used to play soccer when I was a kid. She played Sunday league soccer, and I would play with her. And so, like, being around like these women that just play soccer and have fun. They're all moms. I'm watching my mom go play soccer. We would play together. She played midfield, so I played forward, and she used to just like kick me the ball and be like, run, go, run. And I would score, and she'd be like, woo, Sky, you know? And so I would tell that little girl, like, keep playing with your mom, like, stay in that kind of environment. It's such a happy place. Like, I can go back and be in such a happy place. And that literally those moments got me to where I am today. Like, I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm so grateful. And yeah, like, I would tell every little girl, just kick the ball. It doesn't matter if you're good or not. Just do it. Yeah. Yeah.
To kind of educate our audience today, what are some brands or organizations that you know of or that you've worked with that are supporting women in sports?
I've worked for Football for Her. That's a great one. It's a great platform for little girls to, you know, find their true meaning in the sport. I've also worked with the Immortals Project. That one's not just for women or girls. It's for everyone in LA to make sure that you get the training that you need to be able to become pro, get trials, be more educated about the soccer world. I've worked with a few other brands, and yeah, I mean, every single brand has something great behind it, and I wouldn't have worked with them if they didn't have that, right? Yeah.
What's one change you would like to see in your industry?
In my industry, I would love to see, I mean, there's a lot of things I would want to change, but definitely the hospitality for women in sports. I've seen where some men's national teams have better training fields than the women's, and you know, they get gear, they get cleats, they get more staff, and some of the women, they don't see a paycheck for years, and they're training every single day on not the best soccer field in the wet weather. And also, I've noticed that a lot of females in this sport work multiple jobs. Like, some soccer players work 2 or 3 jobs, where men don't work. They just play soccer as their job. So you know that there's already a difference there. I would love to see more soccer players in the women's side being able to play as their full-time job, being able to rely on that, and, you know, get the same conditions that the men get. Mm-hmm.
How can our audience today support women in sports?
Go to the games, post. Any woman that's an advocate for anything, they're supporting that, whatever they're supporting. Yeah, just being involved in, like, because, you know, the women, we play here sometimes, Gold Cup, Euros, the World Cup. Those games are here. There's a lot of female games here that tickets don't get sold out, or tickets go on sale, or games are free. And I'd love to see people just to support. Your voice already makes a difference, you know. Being involved, making friends with people, even like the restaurants that have the games, or here at the football boutique, we play all of the games, you know. That already makes a difference, that we see that there are people that care, that are interested, and it's not just a male-dominant sport, it's also a female-dominant sport. And we've proven that, and we just have to continue to prove that. I hope that this battle of, like, women's are being the underdogs, we overcome that soon, because, again, like, we've proven time to time that we can do it. We can be right up there with the men and win the Olympics, you know? But yeah, I think, yeah, just that.
Well, I know I'm going to be going to some soccer games, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you guys too? Aren't you so inspired?
Yeah.
So, to wrap up our interview today, I have a fun speed round.
Okay.
What is the dream team that you want to play with?
My dream team would be my 2023 Puerto Rican national team in the prelims to Gold Cup. Yeah.
Toughest player you faced?
Jenny Hermosa, yeah, from Spain. She is so good, so fast on the ball. She can touch the ball. The ball won't leave her foot, and somehow it's in the back of the goal already. I'm like, wow.
She has magic powers.
Yeah, she's good.
Favorite pregame hype song?
Maybe Man Down by Arianna. That's one of my good ones. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Wow, wasn't this an amazing conversation today, you guys? Before we wrap up, if there's anything that you want to share with our audience today, please take the time. The floor is yours.
Thank you guys for hearing a little bit about my career. If you have any questions about my career, I would love to answer them. Any questions for me, I'd love to answer them. Please come to the football boutique whenever you can. We're open Thursday through Sunday and other special events, maybe other days too, actually, sorry. But please come, please text me, talk to me. I'm always involved in the soccer world here in SoCal, so I'm either in San Diego, I'm in Orange County, I'm in LA. I travel to Mexico, I travel to Puerto Rico for soccer, so let me know where you guys are. If you have any questions about soccer things, I will answer them, I will help you, and let's stay connected. And yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And one more shout out, important shout out. Balloon de Flor got you these special flowers.
Yeah. Thank you. Ballon de Flor. They're a great brand. If you haven't seen it yet, they have a flower mural of a soccer ball. They've been at other events too. Ballon de Flor. They're great. They're super great. So check out their floral things. It's cool.
Yes. Thank you so much. And that wraps up our first episode of the MíraLA Podcast.
Thank you.